It is probably well known that in a few days it will be Magha Puja Day, or the full moon day of the 3rd lunar month, the 15th day of the waxing moon of the 3rd month. It is a day when the monks who were arahants, who were ehi bhikkhu upasampada monks, ordained directly by the perfectly enlightened Buddha, gathered together at Veluwana Monastery without prior appointment, and assembled for the Pātimokkha. The Pātimokkha on that day was one of complete purity, where the Buddha presided and all the disciples were arahants. More importantly, the Buddha established the core principles of his teaching. He laid down the essence of his teachings as the principles of practice from that time until the present day, and we have probably memorized it by heart since childhood when we learnt the principles of Buddhism: to refrain from all evil, to accomplish what is wholesome, to purify the mind, which we call the core principles. Now let us look at this important principle of not doing any unwholesome actions. This means we must refrain, we must restrain ourselves, we must abstain. Whatever is bad or incorrect, we must first refrain from. We must restrain the mind. We must abstain from actions, bodily and verbal. This is called the coarse defilements that arise. The Buddha directly taught to not commit any evil. Evil arises through body, speech, and mind, and so we must restrain ourselves, endure patiently. We must try to abstain, to refrain from such actions through body, speech, and even when they arise in the mind, we must try to abandon them. When we have declared ourselves followers devoted to the Buddha, then we've declared ourselves to be practitioners of merit and wholesomeness. Then we must not harm anyone. We must not oppress anyone. What does this arise from? It arises from cultivating loving-kindness meditation. The virtue of patience means having moral discipline, not harming anyone, not speaking badly, not wishing harm to anyone. There is endurance and restraint. Loving-kindness meditation together with moral precepts. Then what happens? The samana arises. The calmness arises. Calm in body, calm in speech. This is called samana, and it arises within our minds. Therefore, if we are to make merit, we must create it. Earlier, we had to restrain and endure. The next point is to accomplish what is wholesome. This we must create. Wholesomeness does not just arise by itself. Kusala means skillfulness or wholesomeness. It doesn't come from just staying still and doing nothing, and then the merit or wholesomeness will arise. It's not like that. We must do it. We must create it. Sometimes when we make merit, it doesn't have to be much, but once done, the heart feels full. Being economical and frugal, saving little by little, this is not the same as being stingy or miserly. It is different. A frugal person has wisdom and uses wealth with mindfulness and wisdom. When wealth is used in that way, the heart feels full and happy because one has helped those who are suffering, those who are lacking, who are poor, lacking food, lacking clothing, lacking shelter. In these various ways, even if we do not give much, the heart can still feel full and happy. Understand that at the moment of feeling full and joyful, we have created merit, we have created wholesomeness, we've cultivated our hearts. In that moment, greed, anger and delusion cannot arise. When greed, anger, and delusion don't arise, then the mind becomes bright with wisdom, and wholesomeness arises. If we create wholesomeness like this frequently, we accomplish it fully. It means to practice meditation, practicing mental cultivation. This is the highest kind of merit. Giving and feeling fullness of heart is already meditation. Keeping precepts and feeling uplifted is already meditation. Giving, keeping precepts, doing all kinds of good deeds, when we recollect them and feel fullness of heart, that is meditation. The Buddha further taught to accomplish what is wholesome, so we diligently try to accomplish what is wholesome. When we have practiced much, sometimes we will feel that our wholesome qualities are full in the heart. Then we can see material and mental phenomena as being impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. This is called Sacitta Pariyottapanang, purifying one's mind completely. Etang Mangalamuttamang, this is the highest blessing. The Buddha taught this and established it as a principle. When we make our mind good, accomplish wholesomeness fully, and purify the mind thoroughly, this is called Nibbana. Nibbana arises in our own mind. Our mind becomes purer and purer, brighter and brighter, from the goodness and merit that we create. It makes the mind peaceful. The mind becomes still. It becomes steady. When we refrain and abstain, then we are creating. Creating what? Creating to make the mind still, to establish it in stillness. We must let go. We must cut off whatever causes the mind to be unsettled. Refrain from it. Abstain from it. Whatever makes the mind good, we must cultivate and create, making the mind steady and unwavering. That is samadhi, or concentration. If we can make the mind still, even for a short time, the Buddha said there is great benefit. Whatever merit we do cannot compare with a still mind. A still mind has great benefits. It may become stilled through contemplation that leads to calm. We may make it still by meditating Buddho, Dhammo, Sangho, by chanting and reciting the Dhamma verses that we have faith in. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Reciting like this until the mind thinks of nothing else. Thinking of one single theme until the mind becomes still and calm. Then seeing that form is truly impermanent, then one can realize the Dhamma. Those with great spiritual perfections, upon seeing that form is not self, can attain Dhamma immediately through that very teaching. In the time of the Buddha, on this important day of Magha Puja, there was Diganaka the Brahmin, who was the nephew of Venerable Sariputta, who travelled up Mount Kichakuta and met the Buddha in the Sukaragata cave, the boar's tusk cave. The Buddha gave a discourse instructing Diganaka the Brahmin, this long-nailed Brahmin, asking him, "Brahmin, what do you delight in?" What the Brahmin delighted in was this: whatever he liked that. Whatever he did not like, he did not want that. The Buddha asked, "What about old age, sickness and death? Do you like them, Brahmin?" The Brahmin replied, "I do not like them." The Buddha then said, "If you do not like them, Then you suffer, don't you? The Brahmin answered, that is correct. The Brahmin's morality, concentration and wisdom, his spiritual perfections had matured fully, and he attained stream entry. He then praised the Buddha, saying, "You have opened what was closed, turned upright what was overturned, and pointed out the path to one who was lost." He offered praise. From then on, the Brahmin would have no eighth rebirth. But what is important is that Venerable Sariputta, the right-hand chief disciple of the Buddha, who was already a stream enterer, but with great wisdom, and so it took him another 15 days, and then after listening to this same Dhamma teaching, he saw into not self, his mind unified, saw not self clearly, and he attained arahantship. A single discourse of the perfectly enlightened Buddha resulted in both a stream enterer and an arahant, arising in their minds because their spiritual perfections were fully matured. So reflecting back, this is precisely what it means to purify the mind completely, through creating merit and wholesomeness, and through refraining and restraining from all evil. We can see that when we go to India, we can experience rapture and concentration in the important places, the places where the Buddha was born, where he attained enlightenment, where he gave teachings, where he passed into parinibbana, where he delivered the Ovāda Pātimokkha, where he enjoyed the bliss of liberation. We can experience rapture, concentration, and a sense of fullness in the heart. Or some people go to Donkasiri cave, where the Buddha practiced fasting. They feel great compassion for the Buddha. If we skip even one meal, we feel like we might die. But he fasted for as long as 49 days. His body became so emaciated that touching his chest, one could feel through to the backbone. It was like skin covering bones. He fainted 3 times, yet he did not pass away. If it were another person doing this, they would have died. They could not have survived. The pain was extremely intense. And if we had lived in the time of the Buddha and listened to his teachings, we would all have attained stream entry, because our mindfulness and concentration would have been attentive, and our faith would have been strong. Therefore, when we listen and then travel to India or Nepal, we may experience calmness, deep emotion, and fullness of heart. If this sense of deep emotion and fullness of heart were multiplied another 100 million times, or 1 million times, 100,000 times, or even 10,000 times, such immense fullness and rapturous joy, when the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths, then we would clearly understand and certainly see the Dhamma. But nowadays, our concentration also brings fullness of heart. It is like Nibbana in a way, yet the strength of this fullness is still not enough to truly know and see the Dhamma. And so we must train, we must keep training. We must train to have the right ideals and train in a better way of practice. That means we must find a way to calm our own minds, not harming others, not harming anyone, being peaceful ourselves. We must seek peace, go to peaceful places at times, and make bodily, verbal, and mental calmness our foundation. This must be trained in. This is our ideal, our goal, for we are also summoners, renunciants in a sense, creating merit and wholesomeness, not wishing to harm or oppress anyone, holding loving kindness and compassion as the foundation in our hearts. and we must practice in a way that enables us to live with society. Because the society outside, it criticizes, bullies, and insults extensively on social media. We must not do that, especially those who aspire to peace. We must have mindfulness and wisdom, using the things that humanity has developed for our benefit, not for our harm. We do not harm anyone physically or mentally, and we do not use harsh words in social media. We remain restrained and careful. According to the monastic principles, then monks practice restraint according to the Pātimokkha. And lay people also have principles of discipline and morality to guide and restrain their conduct in daily life when living in society. We must know moderation in consumption. Consumption is very important. If we consume too much, it becomes fat. If we consume too much sugar, it affects health. High blood pressure and diabetes will follow. We may not see the harm yet. Do we see it? If we don't see the harm, then we continue doing it, not seeing that sweetness, richness, and saltiness can bring harm. The doctors already say there will be harm, so we must refrain, know how to abstain, know how to restrain. So this is for physical health. If we refrain and restrain, then this is for our bodily health. As for the health of the mind, it must go together. We must train ourselves. Whatever is excessive, make it moderate. Do not eat too much. Keep it balanced. Then our body will deteriorate more slowly, and we will have time to create goodness, merit, and wholesomeness. We should also find time to be peaceful with ourselves, to reflect upon ourselves. This is important as well. We may go into the forest. Nowadays, there is a lifestyle called forest bathing, being in peaceful surroundings, like having a good aura, so the mind can become calm more easily. So we keep training the mind to develop concentration. Therefore, when we train our minds, we are learning when to break, when to restrain. We should not simply follow our emotions, that whatever emotions arise, we speak and act accordingly, without restraint, without abstaining, without any brake at all. If a car runs without brakes, can it be used? It cannot run, it cannot function. A car has an accelerator, but it must also have brakes when there is danger. Words that are unwholesome, actions that are unwholesome, we must apply the brakes. We don't speak them and don't act on them. Whatever is good, we cultivate it. With right ideals, we do it. We can accelerate. We can make an effort. And to have mindfulness is essential. It is the heart of the matter. We must have mindfulness to steer our mind in the right direction, like a car's steering wheel. If we are going left or right, we must hold the steering wheel steadily and properly. This is a principle we must use in life and in living together in society. There may be differences between generations, between parents and children. We must listen to reasons and explanations. Parents should not criticize their children harshly, and children should not look down on the virtue of their parents. We should adjust and tune ourselves to one another. Study the Dhamma so that it brings benefit. Even though that Dhamma was taught by the Buddha since the time he attained arahantship, the Buddha spent his first rains retreat at Isipatana Deer Park in the city of Varanasi. After the rain's retreat, he went to teach the 3 Kassapa brothers, and 1,000 of them attained arahantship. Together with Venerable Sariputta and his following of 250, when combined, they were counted as 1,250 monks. On the upcoming Magha Puja day in a few days, may we recollect this day and bring it into practice. Because the Dhamma, as Venerable Ajahn Chah said, it is timeless. The Dhamma does not become outdated. Even when practiced in the present day, one will experience the taste of the Dhamma. All other tastes do not last long. Sabba rasang Dhamma raso jinati. The taste of Dhamma excels all tastes. Therefore we must study and reflect so that Dhamma arises in our hearts. The taste of the Dhamma will remain within us. If we have accumulated merit, whether in this life or in the next, when we hear the Dhamma of the perfectly enlightened Buddha, we may attain stream entry, once returner, non-returner, or arahantship. May all of you grow in Dhamma. May you all grow in blessings.